shiny object. There we go. All right. So placing my hands on my heart. Taking that deep cleansing breath of love and gratitude. Allowing ourselves to rest in this peaceful heart space. The space where only now is happening. We're letting go of everything that happened before this moment and anything that is to happen after this moment. And we're grateful to rest in this space with each other here right now, knowing that we are one and that we are dedicated to living a life of love as Jesus has taught us. We're grateful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers, and all of the love and guidance and blessings that we receive from them. We ask that they join us now, surrounding and supporting us, supporting the technology we get to use to come together, supporting the conversation, allowing it to be a healing, beneficial conversation for all the world. We're grateful to share the benefits of this conversation, the benefits of our life of love with everyone, because we're one with them. In grace and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. So we're in the Manual for Teachers, and we are section 27. What is death? And I'm going to start us off with the last paragraph because I feel like the whole thing was leading up to that. Teacher of God, your one assignment could be stated thus: accept no compromise in which death plays a part. Do not believe in cruelty, nor let attack conceal the truth from you. What seems to die has but been misperceived and carried to illusion. Now it becomes your task to let the illusion be carried to the truth. Be steadfast but in this. Be not deceived by the reality of any changing form. Truth neither moves nor wavers nor sinks down to death and dissolution. And what is the end of death? Nothing but this: the realization that the Son of God is guiltless now and forever. Nothing but this. But do not let yourself forget it is not less than this. And I thought, how perfect that we are reading this the week leading up to Easter, where we're talking about the crucifixion and the resurrection, and how the meaning of the crucifixion in my heart of hearts and in the Course in Miracles is really the triumph over death, that there is no death. There is no such thing as death. And that was the teaching of the crucifixion. And here they're telling us once again to take that into heart, to believe that, to realize that that is the truth of our being and the being of everyone, because we're one. So that's where I'm starting us off at the end. Anybody else like to share what they got from this? Carol, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I love this section, and it's very clear to me. I'm only going to read the section right before Linda's section, because to me that there was one sentence that stood out for me really big. And it's the third sentence in part 6. But I'll read the beginning. And the last to be overcome will be death. Of course, without the idea of death, there is no world. That just leapt out at me, because that's the whole crux of everything about the world. Things die, people die, we don't know where they are, we lose contact, and that's all that there is to this life, basically. And so without that concept, the world goes away. There is none. And so I really, that just stuck with me so big. All dreams will end with this one. This is salvation's final goal, the end of all illusions. And in death are all illusions born. What can be born of death and still have life? But what is born of God and still can die? The inconsistencies, the compromises, and the rituals the world fosters in its vain attempts to cling to death and yet to think love real are mindless magic, ineffectual and meaningless. God is, and in him all created things must be eternal. Do you not see that otherwise he has an opposite, and fear would be as real as love? This section to me was very, very, very clear and very well spoken, because it just reiterates over and over, God is eternal and therefore we are as well. And I don't know about you guys, but in my life here, in the last few years since I've been with this community, I've communicated with people that have gone on before, which I never did before. My brother, one person who I think, if you've been with me a little bit, I adored my brother. He was 4 years older than me and was the best big brother a girl could have. And he passed early. And I struggled with his death. And then one day we were in a prayer group with Carla and this precious lady named Sylvia. Was it Sylvia? No, I forget her name. She's very spiritually sensitive. My brother showed up with her. And during the session, she said, Carol, somebody is here with me that wants to speak to you. And it just blew me away, because I had never gotten over his passing. And it was in 1994 that he passed. And so that situation, that reality, because the things he said through this lady were so particularly him and his personality and his way. And it just closed and resolved all my upset, all my continual inability to let go of his death and be okay with his passing. It had been so long. And so that really was very much for me, like really proof. Not that I didn't know it, but I'd never experienced it. And so having that experience just made it so very, very real to me that we do not die. We are there. We're in whatever form we are, but we're very much here. And whether or not we're communicating all the time with those that are still on the planet, not really important, but that for me was a biggie. And so I just wanted to share that. It just hit it home for me very, very, very clearly. My brother's fine and I'm fine about him. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. Mary Lee.
Well, I was talking with a friend yesterday about this section and have questions more than what is it preferred by when we're saying there is no death? Are we preferring to call it transition? What is because, we all have words. That's how we communicate with one another. So in, what word do you want to use when I suddenly collapse and I don't speak anymore and my body deteriorates? What word? Because I'm not sure what I feel about not calling death, but calling it something else. Now, I too have had, as Carol just said, my mother passed way back in 1974, and she's appeared to me twice, and just as real as, actually more real than what we're seeing on the Zoom. I mean, just her body floated into the room, and in both instances, which we don't need to go into, she was just a few feet away and drifted in and said her words and drifted out. And so I can't say I don't believe in an afterlife, and yet what is the text preferring to say what death is then? When it says what is death, did it prefer to say transition, that your physical plane becomes all a spiritual plane, part of a spiritual plane? I have nothing but questions, not answers.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Lee. I think Carla has something to say about this. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay. We are spirit, the essence of God, or whatever you want to call it. It's an energy, having a human experience. We're not the body. We're not, that's what the Course says. We're not a body. But I think we're not just a body. Now, at this time in your life, you are, your divine self is, words are words, kind of attached or connected to, or whatever, aligned with, whatever, with the body of Mary Lee Hayes. Okay, but when the body goes, it's death of the body. Bodies come and bodies go. Nobody has ever lived forever, right? But the energy that we are, truly, God made us like Himself. It's not like God doesn't have two eyes and hair and fucked up whatever. Doesn't have us. It's an energy source. It's love, right? That's what we are. But we're having a human experience. This experience, we wanted to have a form experience, and so we're having this form experience. And it whatever it is, right now it seems a little challenging to me, but it's okay. I'm accepting that. Does that help? I mean, we're God made us like Himself, like itself, right? Not because it has these, but because we are an energy, where that energy does not die. It can never die. It goes from one form experience or whatever to another. But that essence, the body may come and go. It goes into the world. Seeing everything in the world seems to come and go, right? But what's real does not come and go. It's always forever. Love is forever. It's like, I hope that's clear. It's like, I know the truth. And you know what? I wasn't going to do it right now, but I'm going to read this poem. And at this time, I'm not able to do it fully all the time. That's what we are here. We're here having this form experience to discover the truth of ourselves, the truth of life. and live that truth. And it seems like a lot of the world has gotten lost in thinking they're lawyers and doctors and poor or rich or whatever. And that is just something in this world. It's not us. It's not the truth. So let me read this to you. It'll probably bringing up more questions for you. I don't know. I called it a heart path, and really it was like 2 writings. I just kind of made into 1 poem, but it's really 2 writings. So it's sometime you must let go of your learning and live from your heart, your true self. The first step may be to ask for guidance at each moment, for each choice. And at some point, let go of the conscious asking and just feel into the next action. There's no longer a choice. A choice is no longer seen of what to do next. You just feel it. The next action, we just know by how we feel. We just do. And life unfolds. Life just is. And the second part is presence is being aware of your own cognitive process, your own path of growth. You may see your path, and as soon as it is lived, you forget it and live the next moment as if it were the very first moment of your life. And then, when that is how you live each moment, you are life. Solely life. And I kind of was led to that because of what Linda said earlier, something you read about, I don't remember what it was, but it kind of prompted that reading, that poem, because we're not the body, but the body is like our vehicle of who we navigate the world in, right? So like when you buy a car, when you buy it new, say you buy it brand new, it's pristine, and after you use it a while, it has some wear and tear in it. That's like the body. We have wear and tear. We maybe aligning with judgments, and that's negative energy that's affecting our body. Just like in the car, if we don't change the oil or use the right gas, it affects the car. Everybody has free will. Like right now with the VA, they're doing what they do. God loves everybody. Doesn't tell anybody, oh no, you can't do that. No, we all have free will to choose what we choose. And the world is lost in, I don't know, illusion, money, making money. That seems really big. But I know the truth. I don't always live it. Is the body, which I call the ego, really, is stuff comes up, fear comes up, and like, is it real? I feel it, so it seems real. But I have faith. I'm willing to focus on faith that at some point God is working. Everybody has choice, but God is utilizing it to bring me good somehow. I don't know if it's going to take a week. I don't know if it's going to take a year or a month, whatever it is. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. And my doubt, my distrust, my fear blocks it from coming. So I am not willing to do that. So I don't know, that seems like a lot to answer your one little simple question. I kind of apologize, but life is simple. Life is love. Appearing is something, and then the meaning, the mind, the ego mind gives it the thought, gives it the meaning. That's lesson number 1 or 2. I don't know, 2, I think. I put it all together. We've given the truth. The truth is there in your life. I can't see it. It's for you to see. You're questioning, you're investigating, you're curious. I know you're gonna get to where I've gotten there, and we're one. How can you not? So we are all doing it. So I don't know if that answers your question. I'll shut up finally for now. I think I took a long time, but if you ever are interested in contacting me, you can ask Linda. Linda will give you my information. But it seems like there's a lot. There's this and there's that, and there's things in the world that we got to eat, we got to pay bills, I'm like, I can't walk. It seems like my femur is broken in this form body. But this too shall pass. It's not forever. That's what I tell myself. Don't worry about figuring it out and knowing the truth. It will come to you. Truth cannot be taught, and it cannot be explained what it is. At some point, you will know. You will, and you are little by little, because that's what happened with me. I've got to this place of awareness, little by little. It seems like, because if it happened all at once, it'd be like, what? It's too much. It's really, because we're so huge, having this little form experience. We can't grasp everything. That's okay. I don't want to know everything. I don't want to know. Just show me what to do right now. So I'll finally stop. I know I already told. So I'm gonna thank you for allowing me, Linda, to share all that stuff.
Thank you, Carla. Catherine.
Okay, well, this is, I wanted to be here for this one because what is death? That's a really big thing for teachers of God. And as we live in this world of form, which seemingly so, we do need to come to this place of understanding. And I'm in the midst of it. And the 2 sentences that came out for me, where there is death is peace, where there is death is peace impossible. Death is a symbol of the fear of God. And then, when Carol, you just read, all dreams will end with this one. This is salvation's final goal, the end of all illusions. So we live in this world of illusions. We know that, but it is really hard to accept that this is an illusion, that we are just having this spiritual experience. And oh my God, do we not have a spiritual experience when we're dealing with death? And I've just had a rough couple of days where all of a sudden my sadness, my anger, my upset, my hurt, my pain just came up big time. And it's like, okay, all right, it finally has arrived, because I just was stuffing it down. And it's like, well, I am here to experience what I need to experience. I am here to let this person that I love go. And go where he goes, I don't know. I haven't had a vision, and I may never have visions of those who have gone before me. I'm not needing to have that happen. My desire is to sit with this, to let the emotions come up, let them move through me as they will, and yet come to this place where I truly do believe we are energy. We are energy moving in this world. We've just come out in this very dense form that we can see and supposedly feel and touch. But, energy can't be seen. So it's a lovely concept to think about, that those that have gone before us are mere energy. Their love doesn't leave, and we get to touch it in some way. And to hang on to that. And so Marilee, for you, I just try my best not to worry too much about words and what they mean. I use the words that work for me. And I try not to go to that place of, totally understanding. Part of this is acceptance of where I'm at. And so I'm in that place of just allowing what wants to come up, and then having that conversation with me on paper. That's what I'm doing. I'm having conversations on paper, because I can't bring myself to have conversations with people very much right now. And I just want to be at peace. So that is my goal, to be at peace with this. And it is hard to be at peace when we've been given these opportunities to, experience people in our lives that we love deeply and must move on. And the reality is they're still around us. It's just, and for some of us, we feel it, we know it, we see it. And for others of us, we're not quite there, and may never be there until the moment that we pass out of what we think is this form. So it's hard to believe that I'm looking at you and you're just really illusions. But your illusions come to help me see who I am, what I'm here to learn. And so if that's the purpose, I accept. So how lovely that we can talk about this. It doesn't feel good. And sometimes I just want to weep for what I'm having to experience. And I guess that's okay too, that we will come to what we come to. And I think about nature. It's really how lovely. We watch the flowers come and we watch them bloom, and then they die and they go, and they come back again. So we allow it in nature. Why is it that it's so hard for us to accept it in this humanity we call ourselves? But there's a lesson there in that one. So anyway, I just wanted to share where I was at, because I thought that was important that I speak up and speak out, because I'm in a low place, and I may be there, and up and down, and that's okay too. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm so glad you were willing to share that with us, and holding you exactly where you are, knowing that it's the perfect place for you to be, or you wouldn't be there. And that the peace of God is shining in you now is what came to me. But I'm just like feeling all of us like wrapping our arms around you and loving you fiercely right now. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Nancy Gale, before you share 1 second, I just want to say to Marilee that when you asked the question, the first thing that came to me is the line from the Course that says, words are but symbols of symbols. And so whatever word feels right for you, use it. Use it. Whatever word feels right for you when you're talking to others who have experienced a death, use it. I don't feel that death is not a good word or a bad word. It's just a word. And it's a way that we communicate to each other. And the whole thing about when I was reading this section, I had this image of the way that death and life are cyclical. What came to me was an image of a tornado, believe it or not. And I suppose it's just the energy of the tornado that seems to pop up out of nowhere and then disappear. But it's never really not there, and it's never really here. It's just the energy comes together and swirls together for a little while, and then it dissipates and it becomes a nice spring breeze, so that energy, that possibility for that tornado is always there. And I feel like that is the same for life and death. It's not really a finite black and white line, that it's just the energy comes together in a beautiful twirling tornado that can be destructive or just fun to watch over the lake. And then it dissipates and it becomes a summer breeze, that you can watch the leaves in the trees and the tops of the trees just rocking back and forth and feel so much peace with. So yeah, anyways, I don't know if that made any sense at all, but that's what I got to share. Nancy Gale, and then Leslie.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Carla, this is my spring hat that I wear outside
Nice.
over the baldness. Oh, anyways. Uh, well, you know where I'm at with this. I have second cancer thing, and it's very interesting. I am so at peace, you gotta be kidding me. It is like all the technology I've spent the last 2 days on my Chromebook, my phone, the TV. Big Brother decided, cable company decided to download some new software, and it's like turn the TV off, and it's like I'm like, right. So, anyways, I mean, and I'm at peace because I have learned so much. I'm going to be the techie guru pretty soon. But anyway, energy is I just see it as energy. It's like and in here it says what is it said? Oh, paragraph 3.3. It says the grim death is the symbol. Death is a symbol of the fear of God. And then it says 3. The grimness of the symbol is enough to show that it cannot coexist with God. It's an image. It holds an image of the Son of God in which he is laid to rest in devastation's arms. It's a symbol, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, I have, let's see, I have 2 experiences with this, with spirit. One was when spirit finally told me the truth, showed me that everything that was going on was ego stuff, and that was all a lie. And that at that moment, it was my room, I was in my bedroom, and actually I live about 8 miles from where I used to live for 22 years. And down in that house, I was in the bedroom, and it was right after my mom died, and I had my basic loss was I wanted her to change her mind about me and care about me and love me, and she never did. Her dying words were totally negative. So I said, well, that was my only goal. So I said, well, so the kids went to school. It was in she died in December 21st, just before Christmas. And then the kids went back to school, and Will went back to work. And so that day I said, okay, that's it. So then I said, I made up my mind, and I was going to go in the bathroom, and couldn't move. Paralyzed. I could not move. Like, well, if you don't think that made me angry, it's like, I've mainly made a choice, and now I can't do anything with it. And so I was looking at the closet door, and it's like, I realized, that people used to say, the evil one or the devil or whatever. That was what I knew back then, that I didn't have any concept of spirit and all that stuff. And then it's like, so I'm looking at the closet door, and I'm yelling. It's like, right, you wait until the person is down, 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 and then you zap them. And immediately the whole room filled with this light. And over to the right came in the window, and the whole room filled with this light. And I knew immediately it was God. And I just said, thank you. You came to me to tell, you came to me in my pain and anger and all this stuff. I'm yours. That was it. I knew immediately. And then I don't know if I went back to sleep or whatever, but I don't know how long I was laying there. But then all of a sudden, it's like I got up, took a shower, and went up the hill. The lady behind me, she had broken her spine and it had never healed. So she spent her days like on her couch. So I went in I went in the door and I told her what happened. And I said, I don't know if you believe in God. She said, I'm an agnostic. And I said, what's that? Well, I know there's a God, but I don't know him as a personal God. I said, okay. So I just told her what happened. She just accepted it. No judgment. That was it. And her name was Aileen. And that was it. And she's the only one I told, never told anybody else until I think I told Jennifer a little while back. Was it maybe last year or this year? I told her that, but never told anybody else. But I just knew. And from that point on, it was like, I was in a Southern Baptist church, and you go out and evangelize and blah, blah, blah. And from that point, it's like I knew, I guess all my life, I knew there was something wrong with this world, that there was something wrong with this whole concept. I knew it, knew stuff, but not having anyone to talk to or anything like that, but I just knew. I've known since I was a little kid that there's something wrong with this whole thing, whole idea. But anyways, I'm with the energy thing. And of course, I'm like the science and everything, and energy goes through different phases. It's phases, solid, liquid, gas, what, etc. And even from the Hawkins book, it's like, energy. And okay, my first cancer thing was I got through half of the halfway mark and just beyond, and then I got really, really sick. And I was like almost dead. It's like it seemed like it. I couldn't wake up. I was like, someplace. Um, and it's like, and I was laying in bed, and Amy was, shaking me and trying to wake me up. And I didn't want. I was happy. I was like this. I was laughing. I don't know if I was laughing out loud, but I was like, this is so nice and warm and happy place. I'll stay. But then it's like the thought, no, you don't want to leave her there. You can't leave her. You can't just go. You can't go now. You have to. I don't want to leave her like and Jesse and Jamie and them. So I came back. But anyways, it's a whatever. But symbol words. I'm a word person too, definitely a word person. And what you suggested, what works for you, when I changed, the word forgiveness and the word acceptance, always stopped me. They were blocks. And when I changed forgiveness to to let it be, just let it be, just acknowledge something, that's all. Not having to say it was okay or anything like that. I just changed it to, okay, let it go. Just acknowledge and let it go. That frees me with the judgment, the opinion, or whatever the concept. And for acceptance, I said, okay, just acknowledge. I don't have to say it was okay. That's all I'm doing is acknowledge. That's it. And once I did that, I've had no problem since then. It's just, and it says here, I think it's even on this one of those pages. The body is for communicate. It's a commute. You have to, like a radio, you need to broadcast, whatever you want, your music or whatever. Your body has the mouth, and it's like that's what it's for, to communicate. Somebody already said that already today, and that's how I'm living. And just one more thing. Let's see. I was having this technology stuff, and it's like that drives me crazy, right in my body. And it's like I'm sitting here, and I was like, the chemo hit me really hard. I had the second one for the last week, so like Friday, Saturday, this weekend hit me really hard. The fatigue was like, oh no. And then last night I was sitting here and I started thinking, oh, something Jennifer said a few weeks back, or well, just shortly back, that spirit is it's not separate. Spirit is, which is energy, it's in me. It's in the body. And because I always said I wanted, certain couple of people like a therapist and everything, I would like to clone them and put them in a pocket and take them with me. So I always had, and it's like, I heard her say that. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm not praying to an entity or something out someplace there out that I can't see. Can't see it, but it's right in my body. I've had my clone thing all along. And so all of a sudden I'm talking, and then she said, pray without words. I put this all together, and it's like, and I do the lesson 361. It's like, I turn it over. It's like, all I have to do is think it. I just have to think it, because, and then I kind of look at my heart or something, like, it's like, well, you're right here. I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking. And then the other thing was, when I was 7 or 8 and I was locked in that room, and I could look out the from the window up to the corner, and then I could see traffic going by, and I would always wonder who's riding in the car and what they are, the family, whatever. And then I said, feeling powerless, that I could not physically do anything to change anything about my life. My thought was, I wonder if I could change it in my mind. I wonder if I could do something, my mind could do something to change whatever circumstances. And that was a real question. I still remember that. And of course the idea came, no, how could you, that's impossible. So I dismissed it, and that was it. But that was when I was like 7 years old, and now I'm 80, right? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's where the whole answer is, the whole dynamic of everything is. It's in the mind. And that's energy. So I'm in a happy place. I do not intend to die at this current time. I've decided, we did the forgiveness letters, and I said, my intention is to live to 100, to prove my intent, and I'll be able to say, well, I made it. We were both going to live to 100. Him, because he's older, and me, because to make sure that I told everybody that that's what he wanted to do. So I put that in, that was my intention. But but it's like, I am anyways. If this is just a state, a lower energy state phase. And I guess the statement that nobody lives forever, the body never lives forever, but we do.
Absolutely.
Does
Thank you.
any of that make sense? Oh, and okay, one more
Yes.
thing is, like, my memory, because I'm a visual person, my experiences are like snapshots. When I go to a memory for something, I see a picture of it. There might be a word or two, but I see a picture. And then they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And then, but nobody else can see that picture, and which has what I want to share.
Yeah.
So then I start sharing in words, and then I get all totally. So anyways, and so Amy is like, she said, I said, it's not a film. And she says, pick what's relevant out of that you want to share. I said, so
Yeah.
we're working on that. So there you go, guys. I'm
Thank you, Nancy.
here in this body, and currently, and the sun is shining, and it's warm today.
Good.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, my dear. Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for your shares. Catherine, I just want to say how brave I think you are for showing up here, showing up in class. And I know your heart is broken, and I just wish I could give you a big hug. And I love the prayer. I love the prayer that Linda said for you. That is so true. We're all holding you in our hearts, and only you know what you're going through, and it's okay. Whatever you're feeling is okay. Yeah. And Mary Lee, I love what Linda said to you too, about words are just symbols, and whatever works for you. It's not like the Course I have to lower my hand. That's bothering me. It's not like the course tells us, at least that I've seen, I could be wrong, but how to think of death, because I still think the body dies. I mean, I don't know exactly what it means that the body dies. And whenever somebody does die, especially suddenly, it's just so weird. It's like, here, gone. It's like they're here and then they're just gone, but they're somewhere. It's just so, it's just weird to me and interesting. But I just wanted to give a quick follow-up to my meltdown last week. I'm doing much better. And I want to thank you all for your support. That meant a lot to me. And what I did that before, I don't know, it was right after work at like 5 o'clock. I did a worksheet, a Katie Byron worksheet. And hopefully most of you know what that is. And if you don't, you can look it up online. But and then I facilitated myself before I went to bed. And so that was really helpful. And then the best part was I was finally able to go into true forgiveness. And true forgiveness to me is what Cindy Renard talks about in her book, her forgiveness book. And it's that I was able to forgive myself for something that never even happened. This is just a dream and it didn't even happen. And how can I be mad at Abby for something that never happened? I mean, it was just like, I couldn't get there because before it would have been a spiritual bypass, but I truly felt that way, that, oh my gosh, Leslie, there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing happened. And then it was interesting that night I had a dream, and her son, Anderson, sent me just it was a little teeny square Post-it note, and it just said, I hate you. And I was just like, oh, in the dream. And then when I woke up, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. It's hilarious that I would be upset over a sleeping dream I had that he hated me. I love him. I know he loves me. How insane is it to be upset about something in my sleeping dream or something in my waking dreams? It's all just made up. It doesn't matter at all. And I'm looking forward to Easter. And so that morning, the next morning, I just sent Abby a text. It was really cute. It said, I love you. And it was a balloon that said, so much. So I love you so much. And I sent it to her, and then she sent me a text back that just said, I love you too. And so I'm really looking forward to Easter, and I think it's all going to be fine. I don't know yet. I wanted to try to plan and control, like, should I try to see her on Saturday? Should I take her into a room and say, we need to talk, or are we good? And I was just making myself crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm not at peace about this. I think I'm just going to let the Holy Spirit decide what I should do. So I'm willing to be truly helpful, and I'm looking forward to seeing her, and I think we're going to have a great time. So forgiveness is truly a miracle. And I like what Nancy Gale, you said about using a different word. For me, my word for forgiveness is non-judgment. That's how I see forgiveness, as non-judging. So thank you, everybody. You're a great support group. Love you all.
Thank you, Leslie. I'm so glad you shared that with us. I was wondering how you were doing after last week, and knowing that we're heading up to Easter. And I am just seeing Holy Spirit just take charge and allow you both to see that really nothing happened, and there's nothing left there but peace and love, because that's the truth of both of you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. That's an excellent point to remember.
Yeah. You're welcome. Hamira.
Thank you, Linda. Hi, everybody. And Catherine, my prayers and thoughts are with you. I hope your heart heals very soon. I understand it's going to be a process, so just know that you're held in thought by all of us. And I just wanted to kind of, I don't know if there's any answer to this, but sort of going back to, what Mary Lee was asking about what is death. And, my father died about 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago. And I really haven't had the experiences of like experiencing him after death or anything like that. But I remember at the time I got obsessed with like watching near-death experience videos, and Corinne Zupko, another course teacher, when I was really worried about my brother overdosing, had me read the Afterlife of Billy Fingers. I don't know if you guys have read that, which was really beautiful book about sort of this woman's brother's experience, of his experience of afterlife, which he shared with his sister after death, and she wrote a book about it. And then my question is this, that, okay, those experiences seem, and very real. And it seems like a lot of people have them, where even when they go through a tunnel and then decide to come back, they meet with people that have passed on before. But then non-duality teachers say it's spirit, all is spirit. There is no, and everybody's a character in spirit. So no, there is no Homera, there's no Mary Lee, there's no Linda. So, one Christian Science teacher a long time ago that I was reading, she said, all this is all imagination. When we go and the breath leaves the body, there's no memory of this life anymore. You're gone. It's you go into another experience. So it's, I don't know. It's kind of like seems different teachers say different things. And I know none of us have died, so none of us can really answer this question. But it really is confusing a bit. I don't know if you can give any clarity to it, Linda, because, non-duality seems to say there, yeah. So why would you meet your father, because it's all spirit. So I'm confused.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, right. Nobody can really answer that question because we all appear to be here right now. I had a near-death experience, but it was at an age where I didn't have words, and so I can't remember it. So I can't really tell you anything from that. But I know I have always been drawn to people who have had near-death experiences. Eben Alexander had a book. I can't remember the name of the book off the top of my head, but was a fabulous book. He had his own near-death experience and came back to talk about it. So that might be something that would be helpful. But yes, the truth is that we are all spirit. There's only one. And so there is no me, no you, no anybody else on the Zoom, no anybody else in our lives. That's the truth. But at the same time, like I was saying to Mary Lee about the word death, our concept is to put a word there. So our concept is to put a face on the energy that appears to us, that is spirit showing up as the energy of my father, as the energy of my mother. And so the way I look at it is, if that is helpful, if that is comforting in an experience where we are entering into a space that we have no experience with and could be scary, and that comforts us, so what? If it's not real, so what? So, when I finally shuffle off this mortal coil, yeah, I hope I get to see my dad and my mom and other people and animals that I have seemingly lost from this life. I imagine that, again, the movie The Shack comes back to me so many times when we're talking about these kind of things. Just the image that he got to have, seeing his daughter playing in a field of wildflowers with a bunch of other little kids. I mean, whatever comforts us that is helpful in bringing us back to peace. Even though in our heart of hearts, we know that we're all one, that there is no separation, and that we're not really here having this human experience. I don't find anything wrong with having the experience the way that we're experiencing it, and allowing it to be comfort and loving.
That's helpful, Linda. And what was it that you suggested that we can look into reading? You said something.
A Dr. Eben Alexander. I'll just look it up really quick. He wrote a book. I saw him on Oprah's show years back. And let's see his book. Proof of Heaven.
Proof of Heaven. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. He was a neurosurgeon's journey into the afterlife. And that the book that we get to read in Masterful Living about the two nuns that were communicating back and forth after the one nun passed away. That is another book that is really good, that I felt really connected to. Well, of course, we started reading it a couple months before my dad passed away. So that was also very helpful. And I just find those things up, testimony of light. Yes, thank you. Sometimes brain doesn't want to, go back there. Okay, so
How do you spell the guy, Eben, how do you spell his first name?
B as in boy, A-N. I think it was A-N.
Okay.
Nope, it's E-N. E-B-E-N.
Okay. Thank
Nancy.
you.
Yeah.
Hamira, what was the name of your book you mentioned?
I think it's called The Afterlife of Billy Fingers.
Yeah. I know Jennifer has suggested that too at times. I have not read that one.
It's a quick read, but it's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
especially if one is struggling with the idea of death and, missing a loved one. It's so comforting in so many ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hamira.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And let's see, I was just going to mention that today is Sal's birthday, and I got to spend last Saturday for a couple hours with both Colette and Sal. They drove 90 minutes from Ohio to come to my drum circle, and it was so much fun to see them in person. So happy birthday, Sal. So glad you're here. Thank you, Colette, for letting me know. So next week, we're going to read What is the Resurrection? Perfect, because Sunday is Easter. So I'm so grateful to be here with you. So that's what we're reading next week.
That goes along with Jennifer's suggestion to say that, like, sort of meditation or what mantra. It's like, I am the resurrection and the life of
Absolutely.
my body. That's what, that's all. I already read it, so I got it.
So I'm going to read today from the Pathways of Light Insights for lesson number 94. I am as God created me. It seems surprising that it would be so difficult to accept that we all are extensions of God's love. The power and strength of God's love is ours eternally. We cannot give this power away, even if we wanted to. We are God's Son eternally. God's Son is one and is all inclusive. God's Son is what we all are forever. We cannot change that. No matter what wild and crazy stories we may choose to believe in for a while, the stories are really nothing. Just foolish tales of aloneness, of separation from our eternal connection with God. I cannot be God's Son alone. God's Son includes everyone. God's light includes everyone. As I watch TV and see the maneuverings and gyrations of the war, I can remember that all are God's Son, complete and healed and whole eternally. The dreams of being on one side or another of a conflict are seen as silly ideas to be laid aside. I am so grateful for the course because it is a helpful path that brings me to the consistent truth that the physical world is a dream and could never be the truth. Separation from God is a dream and could never be the truth. Everyone is still as God created them. Nothing has changed. Love is, God is. I am so grateful that this is the only truth. I am so grateful to be reminded today that my hallucinations of separation are not real. I will do my best today to devote the first 5 minutes of every hour to remembering the truth. The Course does such a wonderful job of encouraging me to let go of illusions and return to the truth. I give thanks. To really accept that I am as God created me and I am his son eternally is to accept complete freedom from guilt. Since God is love and nothing else, his son must be love and nothing else. Today's lesson could be rephrased. I am as love created me. I am love's extension eternally. I am changeless love, and that applies equally to all. If someone irritates me, when I remember that that person is as love created them and love's extension eternally, all sense of irritation or upset disappears. Because love is changeless. It cannot be harmed. And because love is all that is real, no harm is possible. This world seems to demonstrate the opposite because it was made to make the impossible appear possible. It is only our belief in separation is real that makes it seem real to us. Today's lesson is telling us that remembering that we remain as God created us is complete salvation from this make-believe world of impossibilities. I dedicate today to reinforcing in my mind the idea that I remain as God created me. I am his son eternally, whole, changeless love, and nothing else. God created me in his innocence. That has not changed. That is true of everyone without exception. Today, I practice remembering that all through the day. There are times when my self-esteem is so low that I wonder what God was thinking when he created me. I keep thinking that God sees me the way I so often see myself. Even now, I still don't know where I'm going. I still don't understand why I'm here, but the Course and these lessons continue to give me hope and willingness to reach the goal God wants me to reach. I often think of how much I love my daughter and how it hurts me to see her struggle. And I think God feels the same way. He sends us these messages and wants us to remember who we are in hopes that this thought will give us strength and shed some light on our troubled times. Most Holy Spirit, help me have the willingness to remember this thought today. For this thought will sustain me, especially in difficult times. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Have a happy Easter. I love you all so much.
Oh, love you all. Thank you, Linda.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Linda.
Love
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
you
you.
all
Thank you, Linda.
Thank
very,
you.
very much.
Have a
Yeah.
great weekend.
Thank
Happy
you.
Easter.
Thank you.
You
Happy
too.
Easter.